Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of Coffee and Conversations. We are so looking forward to this conversation we are going to have around the table today with some of the most incredible chefs you have ever met in your life. So get excited for today. Katie, tell us about who we're going to have at the table.
I know, we feel so lucky. We have Jennifer Carroll and Billy Riddle, who are chef owners of Carroll Couture Cuisine. And we have Jason Cichonski, who is partner and chef at Ampure Hospitality Group. We are so excited. We have done some incredible virtual events with all three of you. And we're so excited to have you guys sitting around a table. And we're just excited to kind of get, tips and insights from you guys about how to, host and produce a really great virtual chef event, which is not easy to do. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is awesome. And we have coffee and you don't. And I know you are always under caffeinated, so let's fix that. So Ben from PHL Coffee has whipped up some special surprises for you guys. Ben, what did you make?
First we have the cardamom and cracked anise latte.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
And we have a lemon seltzer Americano. There you go. And then a bucket of cold brew.
This is perfect.
How appropriate.
He knows me so well. And in the chef container of choice.
That was special.
Ben, this is perfect.
With a gold straw. I love it. It's amazing.
You guys are hilarious. This is why Friendsgiving was one of the most incredible events. We had the opportunity to do a virtual chef event with all three of these incredible chefs and just do a big Friendsgiving and incredible recipes, incredible things like that. But let's just start off with, obviously, this whole COVID pandemic has absolutely, I don't even know, just devastated, the restaurant industry. And you guys were incredibly quick to pivot, hate to use that word, we've all overused it, but so quick to make that shift into virtual. How did that work? Like, what did you shift early on? Where were you at?
We had to move from DC to Philly to start. That was our first move.
What we were doing, we were just starting to dive into the virtual world before everything happened. And so as soon as it hit, Billy was already investigating the technology and the cameras and that whole stuff. So he went full on into it and took it from there.
There's just there's so much to learn, as you guys know. It's just, you think you have one thing and you have to learn more, which it's a lot, but you push through and you figure it out.
I think I didn't necessarily jump into like the on-camera virtual part of it, but definitely used online platforms to immediately shift everything I was doing in the restaurants to takeout and to go. We have a small pasta company, Little Noodle, that we just kind of started taking our fresh pastas and turning them into kits where it came with sauces or cheeses or whatever, and we just put up an online platform and set up a couple pickup days because people were still allowed to come to pick up and not come into the restaurants, and just kind of changed our whole model to kind of flow around that. And then took all those pasta kits that we're doing, and for everyone that we were selling, we were donating one back, so it was a good opportunity to kind of, while everyone was struggling, give back a little bit as well.
That's so powerful. I mean, that's one of the things I think that we love and respect about all of you guys like so much is just your commitment to the community and to making an impact. And, despite what is going on, in your own world, like you always continuously make time to, really make an impact and give back in the community. It's really inspiring. Can you talk? I know the pasta kits are so awesome.
I don't know, I think in particular the culinary community, especially in Philadelphia, has kind of always had this like close-knit bond in and of itself, and I think it's really been amazing to see like people kind of unite even more during all of this and kind of come together to support each other. I know one of the first things I did, and like the reason that we were able to donate so many kits, was your relationship with Save Philly Eats and Fuel the Fight.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of thing. Like they were involved with something, so they got me involved. Or if I was doing something, like I always reach out to them. We give each other advice when we're going through hard times, and leaning on each other throughout all of this has been really important, I think.
It's a very humble city, and we try to like, our relationships are important.
So it was me joining different boards of like the James Beard Foundation and then helping set up the Save Philly Eats and reaching out to let them extend to other cities to help restaurants in our community that way. And then working with different charities like CORE, who gives directly back to restaurant workers, like employees and their children, continuing our relationships with Alex's Lemonade and still doing things, but just on a different level. And what Jason and Billy are saying, honestly, like, the national ones kind of morphed into more local ones as we've gone through this over the months, and that all different chefs and women chefs and restaurateurs and small business owners that have bonded together. And in the beginning, we were talking twice a month. We've set up the Sisterly Love Food Fair, which travels around. We've set up other different farmers markets. We've set up Save Philly restaurants with Nicole Marquis, who is doing so much. So it's just having my hands in everything to spread as much information out to as many people, because we're struggling, but everybody else is. So it's just giving advice, crying, yelling, ranting, but like laughing and having that connection with people on the same level has been something really big.
That's so true.
That is so cool.
True,
Yeah, and the pasta kits were delicious. We ordered a bunch of them. And Thanksgiving, all the ordering. We're like, okay, what else are they making?
Yeah, I actually drove my XL SUV into like South Philly to do these pickups, completely forgetting I have an XL, and I parked it like a normal sized car. It's like half hanging out into the street. People can't turn out. It was so funny.
Well, you needed it to fit all those mac and cheeses.
The truffled mac and cheese.
Oh my gosh, 9 trips. But no, I think like what makes this city and this restaurant community, this hospitality community in the city so special is that bond and that closeness and those like spider web of relationships where just, you know, everyone is kind of supporting each other. And I think, you know, those relationships and that energy and that chemistry that you guys have in particular is one of the reasons we were so excited to, you know, work with you guys for Friendsgiving, the virtual chef event that we did for one of our clients. And I mean, literally, I think we're still getting feedback about how awesome it was and the energy, and oh my word, we had so much fun. And it was like, you know, those are the kind of things that sometimes you just like can't script.
I think like-minded people with similar value structures tend to gravitate towards each other. So it's like easy for like once you meet people not only that have like that similar interest and like drive to be in this business, but then also just as people have the same ideas, and you just kind of like bond, and that just doesn't really go away.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's so fun. Yeah, the chemistry on that Friendsgiving was amazing. Yeah. The recipes, the fun of it, that was great. Yeah.
I feel so weird when I do stuff like that by myself and so awkward, but it's so much easier to kind of like, you have a friends to fill in the silence and like kind of like pick up wherever you're leaving off, and
it makes it feel good, you know. It's warm and fuzzy. We're both like teaching each other every day too. I feel like the position we're both in, I feel like everyone's in the position to always learn wherever you can now, because you don't know what's going to come around the corner.
Yeah.
So as you guys are getting ready for virtual events, whether it's virtual chef events you're doing, you know, in your house or things that you're coming on site for, how do you prepare? How do you prepare to come? How do people prepare for a chef to come? What does that look like for a virtual event?
I know we do different things because y'all don't drink anymore, and I take a shot because to just straight up calm my nerves. And
It's too funny. And yours is a clean juice ritual, right?
Well, we do ginger shots because it gives the same kind of effect. We like it's like taking a shot of espresso almost, but a lot cleaner.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
That's amazing.
For me, like, there is preparing. You're preparing mentally. At least I'm preparing mentally. I'm reading through the recipes. I'm memorizing things. I'm laying things out on like step by step by step of what has to be done. Looking at the timing. Is it an hour-long event? Is it an hour and 15? So, you know, practicing consistency, doing things over and over is really important. The more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah, we always try to like veer towards quality. So if we make it one way, we just want to make it better the next time. So the overall experience is great for the person like we're selling to. It's important to us.
Do you guys have like, okay, so like let's get real for a second. For people who might like the idea or it sounds cool or they might want to like, you know, talk about it or try it out, like what things should they keep in mind? Everything from prep to equipment to communication to budget to have available, because I think that's, you know, something that a lot of people can overlook if they're not aware of it, is that this is still your time, it's still your materials, and especially now in this environment, it's more important than ever to actually invest in the restaurant industry and the chefs as a way of like supporting them, not sort of, you know, taking time and materials. So like what kind of things should people, you know, have in mind? Like,
For me, it's been pretty easy because I work with you guys predominantly on, and you put everything together but that, I mean, I guess then what I value about that is structure and knowing on your part exactly what you want the event to be, what the goal of the event is, you know, timing, and just organization generally, I think are really important, because that world is still kind of new to me. Like I even called Billy the other day when I got a request to do a virtual demo. Like I'm comfortable cooking with a camera over there that I don't have to man. And like you guys were saying, like Billy has like kind of learned a lot of that technical aspect. When I get a request for it, it's like, well, where do I put my phone, or do I put my computer over there? I actually don't know unless I have a team or work with like you guys or like a production company. I don't know what to do with any of that. I'm sure I could learn, but it's like you said, it takes a lot of time and energy.
Yeah. It's not always the same thing. Like with AV and like chefs, there's different avenues you can go. Everyone's a little different. Like there is like a lower budget kind of way of shooting, and there's a higher budget. Like you don't always have to do a higher budget all the time.
right.
It makes it more flexible for all of us to kind of adapt when we need to. Like Jason, for example, could hire you guys to do a bigger production, or yeah, I can come over and just be like, here, just use your laptop, it's fine.
It still is our time. So whether I'm going to a speaker or like panel, a big convention, and getting up on stage and teaching a class, I would get paid X amount. Now if I'm doing it at home and I'm still teaching the same amount of people, you should realize that we should be compensated the same amount. And I think that's one of the things that some of the clients have a hard time connecting with. And what's hard too is that there's so many different levels of chefs. There's so many different levels of production, what Billy was saying. So it depends on the type of event you want, right? It also depends, it's the same thing. What type of food do you want to eat? Do you want fast food? Do you want quick service? Do you want fine dining? What type of event do you want to have? So you need to know your goal. You need to have a budget, because you can go on the lower end and cheap, or you can go and spend thousands of dollars. Do you want a pre-recorded session? Do you want me to cook along and have the recipe and we're all going together? Do you want an interactive where we do things, where we do competitions and we do icebreakers and make our clients run around their kitchens and do stuff and do really fun things like that? I love doing that. Like, that's my favorite thing, watching other people cook and then showing their dishes at the end of it, knowing what type of platform we're going to be working on. Is it WebEx? Is it Zoom? Is it 5,000 other ones that have popped up that I don't even know what they are?
It's probably more popping up.
I feel like it's a new platform every week, isn't it?
Just Instagram Live, you never know.
There's so many new things, and we're still learning, and I think everybody is still learning. So I don't think this is going away even when we do reopen. I think they see the door has now been opened. So if we have the live event, we can still bring in national sponsors in, national like acts in, national chefs in, and like people who want to still be a part of it and give back. And now you can raise more money for charities. Now you can involve everybody, and it's possible. And we've all had to learn how to do it. So positive silver linings out of everything. We're moving forward and getting better. So
Yeah, we've talked about that just with what you're saying about it still sticking around even when life comes back, even when restaurants reopen, because it's almost like another lane, right? So right now there's no geographic bounds. So if we did a live event and you cooked, only the people there could know what you made and different things. But if you add in that virtual element, people in California, people across the world can be a part that is, we say it's not just a bridge through this pandemic, it really is another lane of virtual hospitality.
I think, you know, one of the coolest things that has come out of this, you know, like you guys have done 1 million live chef events, you know, where it's like you go in and it's you and 45 or whatever other chefs kind of like slinging food, and you don't, you know, really get to meet people. You know, it's like you're working behind the table. And I think one of the things that's been so cool about this virtual environment is viewers get to see that side of it. Like it's much more intimate and kind of exclusive, which I think makes it special in a way. Yeah.
It's fun too to be a viewer. Like I think to learn recipes from chefs or to see, like I always just think the viewers of the events, like even us being like, oh, we want to try that at home. Like it almost makes it like you value so much what you do as a chef and the restaurants, like enjoying that food. Like I can't make it at home, even if I try. We value that, how creative you get with food. And that's been one of my favorite things, is just seeing you guys get creative with every different virtual event. And Jason, I feel like every event we've done with you has been new and something different that Katie and I are like, you can make that? What? You don't have to buy it at the store?
It really is like R&D, development and research and thought that goes into it ahead of time that I think is really healthy for people to be aware of. Like that's time that you can't do anything else. You can't, you know, do a catering menu or do anything else because you're dedicated.
To that and what Jason was saying, like sometimes we'll make a recipe 5 times. Think about it, 5 times make a recipe because we want to make sure the end result is good for you. Yeah. And like we stand by our product, and that's our method, you know.
And just the forethought, pasta, for instance, like you want to let your dough rest for 2 hours. So now you got to figure out how you're going to TV magic the person at home that's cooking. Like, did they have to pre-make this pasta on their own first so that they can make dough? Like, it's a weird. I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it.
I mean, just I think it goes back to, like valuing, you know, your time and your expertise and what you guys bring. Because in reality, you know, when a client partners with, you know, like a well-known chef for a virtual event, like, you know, that's helping them raise money or sell tickets or whatever it is, you know, increase, like get more viewers. And so, yeah, it does, I think, come down to like a mutual, you know, respect of what it takes to actually produce a good virtual event. A good virtual event.
So looking ahead, right? It's been a great season of virtual. You guys have done phenomenal with it. As you look ahead to this in 2021 and spaces are opening, but virtual is sticking around, what are you guys looking to? Is there anything you're like prepping for, excited for, thinking about, planning for?
There's still more coming up in the virtual world, so I'm excited to see all of the new things that are coming out. We're approached by different platforms that want to do new classes and doing in-house events. What can we do to get retailers to do this? So it's just trying to find different ways. A lot to look forward to.
One goal for us that we've talked about in and out is kind of being able to give the same space that we have to somebody else, like Jason was talking about a little bit. Like if he needed a place to use, he can come to our studio and use it.
From a chef perspective, I'll say that when I'm in the kitchen, you don't get that one-on-one interaction. I think not necessarily a specific thing that I'm looking forward to in 2021, but I do like the opportunity that it gives you a little bit more of like a direct interaction with your guests and the people that are there, and they feel comfortable asking you questions. And because you're prepared and set up and making one thing, you're not just in your kitchen running around crazy while they're trying to talk to you. Like you're prepared to interact with them back. And like, I'm sure there's something fulfilling when you guys do it, that you get that. And like when you were saying that, I kind of like got a little nostalgic and was like, oh, I remember when I used to get to interact with guests and stuff. And like kind of envy that you've gotten that experience. Like I think that's great.
Yeah, we're excited to keep working with all of you, and excited too, like just your social impact. Like way to go to all of you for that. The fact that like even in the midst of the hardest year ever, the fact that you guys kept kept serving the community and serving on boards and serving those who were in need. Like, so cool. And that's, you know, one of our favorite things about partnering with you guys, on top of all of your talent, of course, is just the fact that you continually give back. So excited to keep working together in 2021. It's going to be awesome. This has been so good. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, Coffee and Conversations. If you want to connect with Jason, Billy, Jennifer, connect with the links below and make sure that you get connected with what they're doing, supporting their restaurants, virtual classes. It's going to be an incredible year, and we're super excited to do it all together.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.